welcome back to the Hair of the Dog podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Begley. And today I have one of our Academy students who has become a star student who has been doing some awesome stuff in her business. And I've really enjoyed working with her. This is Michelle Crandall from Pets in Focus from Southeast Michigan. Michelle, welcome to the
Hello.
podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to have you here. Just so excited to chat about. Today, we're going to be chatting about really how you have kind of taken the reins in your community and how
Yeah.
a community event kind of voluntold fell in your lap. Like all of a sudden, you found yourself organizing a whole entire event. You're like, oh my God, what's happening? So, we're
Yes.
going to talk about that. But
Awesome.
before we do, tell us a little bit about your photography journey and where you are in your business.
Yeah. Well, my business name is Pets in Focus. That is my goal. Photograph your pet in focus. And I'm pretty
Beautiful.
good at it, if I do say so myself. I started my LLC in 2013 just as like a hobbyist. And I was actually doing mostly human sports, like mostly hockey. And no one ever found me. Like I always found them. So in 2018, I found Hair of the Dog. I started with your editing class, actually, the photography and
Yeah.
Lightroom class. And then I just started to get increasingly frustrated with my corporate job, which pushed me to apply and graduate from a local business class.
Okay.
Then I upgraded to Hair of the Dog Academy membership to start learning more about the pet photography specific business
Yeah.
aspect of this whole thing. So I started with dog sports at the end of 2019 because it was an easy transition from hockey to dog
Right?
sports.
Yep.
It made a lot of sense. I had some experience with it, set myself up great in 2020. I had 25 days of events scheduled. And then the day that my first one was supposed to start, which was March 21st, was the day that Michigan was shut down.
Uh-huh.
and,
We
and
all remember
everything
that day
else.
like a bad dream. We're like, "Oh,
Yes.
shucks."
And everything was canceled for the rest of the year. And then
Right,
even in 2021 for the first half, people were really hesitant to add any non-essential staff. And
right.
so I'd start something and then someone would call me the day before or email me a couple days and say, "Oh, we can only have 10 people in the building." So
Right.
so then I was like, "Okay, so this is just not gonna work and
Yep,
still pay the
yep.
bills." So the second half of 2021 is when I pivoted to private full sessions, which I had always offered, but it was never my main focus.
Right.
So, it makes a lot more sense to do private sessions in my town anyway than dog
Yeah.
sports. It's half, you spend a couple hours and you're able to make the same funding, make the same
Oh,
money that you
absolutely.
were in a
Yeah.
whole weekend
So,
of dog sports.
is it safe to say that you are pretty happy with that transition and not looking back, like, you're not looking back and being like, "Oh, man, I really wish I could go photograph 37 dog sports this year."
That's a pretty safe assumption that I'm never going back. The people
Nice,
were
nice.
awesome, but, they've already spent
Yeah.
$250 to enter their dog in this show. They've
Yep.
watched it. Most of the people that are interested in it have somebody videoing on their cell phone.
Yep.
So pictures really are 3rd, 4th, 5th in line. I had a
It
few
is.
good customers that would pay, but
Yeah, it is hard. Any event photography and, I have never really done it. It's not my area of expertise, but I do know is in general like dog show, horse show, any of those types of photographers, it is getting harder and harder to do that. Yeah, because everyone's
yeah,
recording on their phone and they really just want something for social media usually. And yeah, and
right.
even if they are going to buy a print or two, usually it's not going to be a big piece of wall art. Um and I had found like the couple, they weren't like a dog show or horse show event, but it was like more photographing at an event and selling some prints early when I started. We're talking back in like 2010, 2011.
Yeah,
When I was thinking, "Oh yeah, I'll photograph some dogs at this event and I'm just going to make so much money." And those are the people and I was like, "I'll sell them for $25." Like it's a huge discount for my normal
right.
prices cuz it was $75 for a print at that time. And I never got so many price conscious, like, "How can you charge this much? What the heck?" Like, the
Yes.
most insane things. I'm like, "Well, it's actually, like, 66% off."
Right. I had a client of mine forward me another photographer's pricing from another
Uh-huh.
agility show, and this person was selling digitals for $2.75.
And they're
And I
like, "Why
can't
can't you
compete with
match
that.
it?" I'm like,
You know,
I just
like,
don't
I
like to
can't
date."
compete with that. Like, I just can't. That's somebody who's doing it as a hobby, and then they don't kind of realize,
Right. We
the
all have to
fallout.
learn our lessons somewhere. And if that's you and you're listening to this, well, you've come to the right place. You're listening to the Hair of the Dog podcast,
Yes,
so we'll get you squared away. No fear.
yes. You could have a whole 'nother podcast, Nicole, on all the things that I've learned in the first 3 years of business.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm still learning things too, and I'm, well, what, 11, 12 years into this at this point. And
Right.
it's a constant evolution.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
and even when you learn it, I feel like right now we're in a big transition in the way that our potential clients connect with us and buy from us and what they're expecting.
Oh,
And
definitely.
that doesn't mean that we can't sell wall art. Like, we still sell what we want and have our business set up that way, but even just the whole inquiry process and the rise of video, I mean, nobody wants to talk about it, but dude, it is coming. Like,
Yeah.
everything on social is video, everything on our website, like, we need to build video into things like that to make the connections with people.
Yeah,
Um and it's just changing. So,
it
anyway,
sure
always want
is.
to learn.
Yeah, just about the time that I got comfortable with my camera, now I've gotta learn the video side of it, and
I
I'm
know. I
yeah.
know.
Where is
Yeah,
Shelley Paulson again?
it's for real. Yeah, you guys, Shelly Paulson, she's been on this podcast, and, she is one of our summit speakers, but she has a great course on getting you set up with some video because she does a
Yes,
lot of video too. But, shameless plug for Shelly. She's awesome.
yes,
Anyway, today, though, we are talking about this pet parade that
yes.
you did not start your year. Is it safe to say you did not start January 1st? You're like, let me look at my marketing plan for this year, and I'm going to do a pet parade in July.
Once
That
again,
was
that would be accurate, Nicole.
okay. Okay. Very good. So, how did this happen?
So, in January, I started a local business class, and it was all based on this book called, Know What You're For by Jeff
Okay.
Henderson. And it was a local business coach that, I've had lots of good, interactions. I've taken a couple classes with him before. And he said, "Hey, come take this class." So the summary of the book basically is, what are you known for?
Hmm.
What do you want to be known for? And then how can you be more for your clients, your team, if you have a team of people, versus being only for your business?
Okay.
Which initially you're like, that doesn't sound like a class I want to take. I definitely want to be for my business. But it brings it all together the more you go through it. So the questions that I answered were, what are you known for? Or who are you known as in your community? And I am known as that pet photographer or the dachshund lady. Like,
Uh-huh.
people recognize my dogs before they recognize who I am. But
I
what I
love it.
want to be known for is, the person who knows a lot about the local pet community, what's going on, things to do, where pets are welcome, as well as being known as the pet photographer. But, I'm it's good for the community,
Hmm.
it's good connections personally and for business. Most of my clients become my friends,
Right.
we're all the same sort of people. So my mindset really began to shift from this, oh my gosh, how am I going to get clients this year? I just started this business model and I don't know what to do. It shifted to kind of the long game. So,
Hmm.
how can I do things for the local pet community that may not be photography related? Because I do a lot of things. I volunteer with the local humane society at
Yep.
their events and donate to their silent auctions and a farm sanctuary. But it's usually somehow based around photography,
Hmm.
where I'm doing a limited edition session and raising money or something like that. So I came up with this idea
All
about,
good things start. Uh-huh. I
yeah,
love it.
all good things start with some idea, with the pet parade in my community. I live small town Michigan, and they've been doing it. I think this year was the 18th or 19th annual pet parade. And it's always been part of a bigger event, like just, a 20-minute
Okay.
parade down the
Yeah.
street and
Right.
back. It wasn't like the main event. But there had been a lot of community feedback and valid concerns regarding the heat, because they hold it, like I'm sure many towns in America, dog days of summer. So
Right.
you're holding these events in like the heat of summer.
Probably at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it's the hottest and the sun's out and the
Right.
pavement's burning feet.
Yes. And so uh, last year, I think last year and maybe in 2020 when they did the pet parade, they listened to feedback and they moved it from the afternoon to 10 o'clock in the morning. I think
Okay.
they might have even done it at 9 a.m. one day, one year. But there was still, there were people threatening to call ASPCA and, all of this terrible stuff. So my idea was, okay, how can we make it safer? Because I don't think the city's going to want to change something that they've been doing for 17, 18 years. And it is good to get, all the pet
Right.
people involved. So I went in and I requested, this is really where it went wrong for me, Nicole, for my marketing plan for 2022. I, I requested to meet with the city officials to see if I
Uh-huh.
could be part of the committee, make it better. And I went in and I said the average July high in my town is
Yeah.
84 degrees.
Right.
And when you look at all of the research, akc.org says when the air temp is 77, the asphalt is 125.
Right.
And you can fry an egg in 5 seconds at 131 degrees. So I'm thinking, this is a great way to bring the pet community together, but is this the best way to do it? I
Right.
don't I
Right.
don't know. So I met with the city, I told them all this information, and I ended up in charge of the pet parade.
Yeah. Uh-huh. They're like, "Oh, all right. You go ahead. Your
Right.
turn."
They were glad for the help, and they're like, "Okay, you can be the chair of the committee." And I said, "Okay." And I walked my way out and I came home and I talked to my husband. I said, "What
What just
happened?
happened?
What am I going to do?" Because I've never been the chair of any sort of event. I've never been in any sort of event.
Yes,
So,
I remember vividly the coaching call where you're like, "Help, what just happened? What just happened?" In the academy, you're
exactly.
just like, "Well, what am I gonna
Yeah,
do? Okay,
exactly.
breathe. First, we're gonna breathe."
First, we're going to breathe, then we're going to try to make this better.
Yeah.
So,
So you had
the
a lot of pieces to it because you wanted to make it better for the dogs and the people, and then you're like, "Man, if I'm gonna be spending my time on it, I also want it to hopefully benefit my business," which
right.
was one of the main reasons I was getting involved in this in the first
Right.
place.
Yeah.
So
I had
what did
130 volunteer hours in a matter of like 6 or 8 weeks
Wow, wow. You're like, "Alright, I'll
because
put everything on hold. Here we go."
everything on hold. Because as I said, this pet parade is part of a larger event. So the
Right,
people that normally like the event and marketing coordinator in my city was working on that.
right.
So this pet parade was all on me. So if I wanted to do it, like go do it. And
Yep,
we'll have meetings every couple months, and they were fully supportive of everything that I was doing, but they were like, there's so many moving parts just on my side of it, and
yeah.
then to add in their side of it, it was a big undertaking that I did not realize. so so what I did was I started because the whole thing was to make this safer for the pets, right?
Yeah,
So what I did was I approached a couple local vets for guidelines and recommendations. And I said, "Where is the cutoff? Like, where is this
yep,
safe? Where is this not safe?" And one of the vets gave me a hard number and he said, "Okay, if the pavement is 110 or above, call it off."
yep.
So what I did was I started going out to the end of my driveway every day and taking the temperature at 10 a.m. to see what it was.
Your neighbors are like, "What is that woman doing every day?" Did you have, like, one of those, like, the gun temperature things? Like
Yes.
that yes.
Yes, I did. And then
This
I
is
did it
this
like
is
on my
hashtag life in the suburbs. Look at her.
I know. So I would do it on my driveway, which is cement, and then I would do it on the road, which is asphalt, and then I would do it, like, on the black tar part
Right,
to, like,
right.
see wherever the hottest part was. And I did it for 3 weeks, and it always, like it was right at or below at 10 AM.
Okay.
So I was thinking, "Okay, what if it's 84 degrees or 90 degrees or
Yeah,
whatever?" So I was actually speaking with another podcast alumni, Holly Cook from
right.
Seattle. And I said, "Holly, what am I going to do if it's too hot the day of?" And she said, "Why don't you get the fire department to come down and spray the road?"
Oh,
And I was like, "Holly, how did I not think of that? That's such a good idea." So I trucked my butt down to the local fire department. I said, "Hey guys, what do you think of this idea?" And they were totally on board.
oh, yeah.
So I said, "Okay, well, this is good." So if we've got that and we've got the lower temps doing it in the morning, Hopefully it'll be okay.
Nice. Nice.
So then I connected with a friend here locally. She works at a local pet store. And she said, "Well, we really need like a goodie bag for the people to draw them in." And I said, "Well, okay. I mean, if you know the people, because she's working at this pet store, so she knows all these vendors and all these brands and stuff." So she sent out like a blast email to like 50 different pet brands. And then the ones that responded yes, then I followed up with them and took it from there.
Nice.
So at the same time she's doing that, I'm doing the local businesses to
Uh-huh.
everybody that I've ever worked with or thought of working with. I walk into their store and I say, "Hey, this is what we're doing. Do you want to participate?" And almost everybody said yes. It
Yeah.
was great.
That's an easy
But
yes for them. Get some,
it's an
yeah.
easy yes
Uh-huh.
for them. And I said, whether you just want to put little things in the goodie bags or, have a little 20% off coupon for something that you sell that's pet related or whatever, everybody was on board. And then what ended up happening was we needed contest prizes because this pet parade was also a costume contest. So I asked all these local places if they would be willing to donate, like a little gift basket or anything. And again, I did not expect all of them to say yes, and all of them said yes.
Wow.
So now we have 8 gift baskets, and last year there were 13 participants.
Oh, wow.
So
You're like, "I better step up. We need more participants. Everybody gets a car,
I
and you
know.
get a car, and you get a car, and you get a gift basket. Everybody."
Exactly. So I said, "Well, this is a good problem to have, but what are we gonna do?" So the entrance fee is really a donation to one of the local charities, a local farm sanctuary. So I came up with the idea, well, why don't we do a silent auction with a lot of these gift
Cool.
baskets?
Mhm.
And everybody was on board with it. The city, showed me how to do it without, all the politics that come with city
Yep. Right.
money gathering.
Right. Right. Right.
So it was done by me, like my brand was doing the silent auction, not the city, but it still worked out really well. So on top of all of that, then we decided to have vendors on the sidewalk because it's a big party weekend
Right.
for my city. Let's get some dog service and product providers out there, and get their name out there. So everybody sat their spot, on a small area in the sidewalk. And I found host storefronts for all the vendors to make sure they'd be okay and they weren't having a sidewalk sale or whatever. Between all these moving parts, um, I had to follow up with 54 different businesses in some capacity.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
like all of these moving parts that I had no idea it was going to
Tell me
be
tell
this
me you
big.
had a color-coded spreadsheet, please.
Of course I did.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
Talk spreadsheet to me, baby.
The city was so impressed with my spreadsheet. They're like,
I
"Wait, is
love
that
it.
a spreadsheet?"
I'll
"Yes,
show
it
you my
is."
spreadsheet if you show me yours.
100%.
Spreadsheet
So
sharing party later on, guys. The secret
absolutely.
link.
Uh-huh. In the show notes.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
So, yeah. So, all these moving parts and, like, all these samples were supposed to be shipped to my house from the national brands,
wow.
and, like, a month before the parade. It was actually after the 4th of July, so we're talking, like, 3 weeks before the parade. I was walking with a friend, and I told her everything that was going on, and we both kinda looked at each other like, "What happens if this doesn't come together?"
You can't think that. You can't think that. There's
I
nope,
was
there's only one outcome and
there's
it's gonna be awesome,
there's
especially with
only one outcome.
how much work you put into it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so, I had taken this leap of faith. I put my business
Uh-huh.
name all over it, and I
Right?
was like, "Okay." So
Did you
af
have all these businesses advertising it too and letting people know about the event because they were
yes.
a part of it? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge.
So in every post, like, after that day, after that walk with my friend, like, all
Uh-huh.
these boxes started showing up full of treats and food
You're
samples
like,
and
I need another room in my
toys.
house."
Yes, my dining room was overflowing with stuff, and my dogs were going crazy because 'cause they're like, "We need in here. Something good is in here."
Smells amazing.
So what happened was we needed bigger goodie bags because the
Oh my gosh.
city had given me these cute little, like, 8.5 by 11 sized bags, and
Right.
one treat bag filled it up. So So one of the local pet stores, they were gonna donate a silent auction item, and I said, "Guys, I don't need that. I actually need bags that are bigger to
Right?
put this stuff in." So they donated some reusable bags. And the goal of all of this was to get 25 people to show up. And 2 days before the parade, the pre-registration alone was at 43.
Awesome.
So we definitely, which was amazing to me because we only started marketing it at the end of, like, right after July 4th or
Right.
around July 4th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it all ended up coming together. And
That's fantastic.
what I did was for each basket donated or each national brand that donated, like Earth Rated donated a bunch of poo bags and holders, which was
Mhm.
awesome. BarkBox donated, a little toy. All of those companies, I tagged them in my social media posts because I
Mhm.
am admittedly terrible on social media. But for July, I had like a post every day because
Uh-huh.
every day I would tag the local pet store and then, put a picture of their gift basket or tag whatever company and tell them thank you for participating and donating. And some of them retweeted it or, reshared it. And so it was great. Some of my posts, like on the Facebook metrics, like everything was green for the first time in like ever. And it was
Right.
great. Like all these, your reach is 5,000% better than last month.
Right. Right. Right.
So it worked really good, and I did get a few new people to follow my business page. And, the goal in the back of your mind is always to like make this part of your business and try to get your name out there more. But really, I just wanted dogs not to burn their feet. Like,
I love it. I love it. A simple meeting to like, can we please think about the safety of the dog led to all of this?
yes,
But I have some questions for
yes,
how, like, 'cause yeah, that's what started it, but then you're like, "Oh my gosh, if I'm putting 130 hours of my time, blood, sweat, and tears into this,
yeah,
like, I want it to benefit my business."
yeah,
So, obviously, you got some awareness marketing out of this, which is huge.
yeah,
Whenever I was back in Pittsburgh and I did a lot of things with quite a few rescues and charities there, and I can't tell you how many people came to me as a long term, like it wasn't immediate all the time. It was a long term play. They're like, "Oh, we love that you're always involved with this and that." And so it's this momentum that you build for this awareness of your business that gives back for years. But
right.
what did you do specifically at the event? Did you have anything in place to gather some leads or make some offers? Did you give away one of the silent auction baskets? Kind of what did you do for immediate return at the event?
So for immediate return, I did actually take photos at the event.
Oh my gosh, you had time for that too?
Well,
Well, or you just
I
made time?
I made time for it, yeah.
Yeah.
I so, going back just a little bit, the costume contest theme is always a big deal, like,
Uh-huh.
what's the theme gonna be? And, it's like this big celebration when they say it. Well, it came from this half joke, half serious question that I had to the city, which is, "Can we roll out a 2-block red carpet for the dogs
Oh,
to
uh-huh.
protect their paws?" And of course, I knew the answer was gonna be no, but I was hoping that it would, like, get some things, get some ideas
Right.
rumbling, and they said, "Oh, well, the theme is now gonna be a red carpet theme, top hats and tiaras." And so everybody showed up, like, in these, like, gowns. It was so
Oh my
great because,
god,
like, the
that's
prom
amazing.
dresses that nobody could ever wear again or the bridesmaids
Uh-huh.
dresses, they all showed up, and people, like, showed up. We had a whole family in, like, tuxedo T-shirts. It was so cute.
It's fantastic.
And so the the photography aspect of it was they would come down the little red carpet, and all the people that pre-registered got their name on, like, a little Hollywood star.
I
We
love
had
it.
little bitty stanchions that my friend's mom made out of toilet plungers. It was so cute. And so at the end of that red carpet, they got their picture taken, and then they went on to the parade.
Oh, that's so cute.
It was super cute. And so then, when I finished with all of them, that's actually where I generated all the email addresses because I blasted it out on my Facebook
Mhm.
and the city did, and so then they have to enter their email address to get into the gallery.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
so that's how I generated the email addresses because there was so much going on. There just wasn't a way to do it there.
Right, right.
There
Yeah.
just wasn't a way. There were so many tables, and then the farm sanctuary that we were raising money for was there with chickens and walking on the tables and, there was a lot going on, Nicole.
I believe it. I believe it. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. But I think one of the incredible success stories from this is not only did you take this event and just absolutely rock it and make it bigger than it has been in the past years and safer
Yeah.
for the dogs and just a better experience for the community as a whole. You said you were talking to at one point like 54 businesses.
Yes.
That's a lot of important networking in your market because, so many pet photographers I see just think that like I'm going to make my website, I'm going to put up some social media posts and then I will have all the business come to me, but it's really a
Yeah.
relationship business. Even though, we are in it for the dogs, it's still a relationship business and having these relationships with all these other businesses and these vendors, I mean, it's something that is going to pay dividends in your business for years and years and years to come.
Yeah.
And now you have these relationships that you can reach out to for, other marketing strategies, or like when people ask them, they'll immediately think of you. And it's one
Yeah.
of those intangible things that maybe you don't have like, okay, yeah, I booked, 5 sessions and $25,000 worth of work from that one day. It's like, well,
Right.
no, this is going to be something that gives back to your business for years on down the line.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I
And
made a lot of good connections.
yeah, it's fantastic. So, huge
Yeah.
question, are you doing it again next year?
Well, they put my name on the reusable sign, so I believe I don't have a choice. But yes, it was so fun. I learned a lot of things too.
Yeah.
So, if I was doing it again, we had the first 25 got the goodie bags,
Uh-huh.
right? The first 25 that pre-registered
Yep.
beforehand. Well, then some of those folks didn't show up.
Right?
So then we have a couple of these goodie bags that are so valuable. Like there's so much stuff and there's like
Like
$50
the
worth of stuff in
Oscars.
them. Yeah. And I said, well, so maybe next year we'll only do like the first 25 to show up or however
Yeah,
many
yeah,
we
yeah.
have.
Right, right. Yeah.
So I would definitely be careful with the pre-registration. And then also, like, I would have a backup plan
Yeah.
because truly we did not have a backup plan. Like we had talked, the city and I had talked a little bit about maybe doing it on this grassy area in front of a church.
Uh-huh.
But you got to think, like, everybody in the community knew about this if they were paying attention at all. Like they knew
Right.
the pet parade was coming. We had 2 blocks, both sides filled with people that were watching. We
Right.
had the fire department there ready to go down the main road to
Right.
cool off the road, and it was basically a game time decision,
Yeah.
which based on the recommendations that I not only solicited and publicized, and now it may come back to bite me.
Right. Right.
But thankfully, it was cloudy and it had rained the night before,
Yeah.
so it was perfect, actually.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah,
But
like,
yeah,
I think you would have to imagine have, like, a rain plan. Would the event be canceled if it was, like, a really rainy, yucky day, or does
yep,
the
we
show
didn't
go
have a
on?
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had no plan. So
So, that's on the
took
docket for next year.
took that leap
Um,
of faith and just stood there on it.
while this is all fresh in your mind, have you sat down and, like, written down all the things that worked well, all the things to change, so that you don't get to this next June, next May, and like, "Wait, what did I do for this?"
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
like
good.
you and I discussed, I have a beautiful spreadsheet with
Nice.
all of the people that were super willing to do it. And not everybody replied. Some people didn't even like reply at all, not even to
Right.
say no. They just like
Yeah.
ignored me. And but the people that were totally on board and with my friend's help here in town, the one that works at the pet store, I mean, she without all those connections, we wouldn't have had the goodie bags
Right.
for the people. So it was great for her to make those initial connections. And then for me to follow up, as like the business, I was able to do the legitimate follow up because they saw, I had my LLC and my tax ID number and all that.
Right.
Um, so that went really well. The businesses that I approached went really well. And working with the city, whereas initially I was a little concerned about working with the city. I'd never done it before.
Right.
Like, these people are, like, elected officials, some of them,
Yeah,
like,
right, right.
and here I just walk in, with my little notepad that has dog paws all over it, like, "Hey."
Just a concerned citizen here reporting for duty.
Right, exactly. But it was super smooth. Like, at the end, we had a little moment at the like, a week before the event where we went out and we actually walked the sidewalk in town because what I didn't realize is that they were also having things on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
And, all the businesses, they were like, "Oh, yeah, sure, you can put anybody out there that you want." Well, then the city had also put people that they wanted out there. So we had to, kinda make things work that way and
Right.
make sure that everything was gonna work. But at the end of the day, like you said, it all worked out. It all
Yeah.
works out in the end, and I have had no negative feedback. All of the vendors wanna come back next year.
Great. Love
All
it.
of the people in the community, I mean, we had 43 pre-registered, and by the end of the day, we had 56 dogs registered, or
Wow.
pets, I shouldn't say. We had a
Yeah.
chicken, we had a snake, I think we had a lizard. Yeah, for sure, we had a lizard. Yeah, we had all kinds of stuff, and, it was just so awesome to see, like, the whole pet community come together, and everybody's talking and laughing, and, it's just such a relief
Oh my
that
gosh,
it
I
all
love
worked
it.
out.
This is gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger because the people that
I
went
think it
this year
will.
had such a good time. They're gonna like, "Oh, we have to do it again," and tell their friends, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's gonna
Well,
just
I know that
exponentially
I've
grow.
made a difference because, we quadrupled event participation in
Uh-huh.
basically 3 weeks of marketing.
Right.
And I see other small towns in the area mimicking some of the ideas that I introduced this year, which is super
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
because then their pet parades are safer for their dogs.
Right.
Because this is a thing, like, across America. I mean, how many little cities out there are doing dog days of summer? Bring
Right.
your dog out to whatever event.
Uh-huh.
And is it really in the best interest of the pets to, like, walk out there?
Right.
Probably not most of the time.
Right. Right.
So if, people like me who are passionate about this, and most of the listeners of the Hair of Dog are very passionate about pets and their safety, let's try to make it safer,
Yeah. It's
you know?
fantastic. And
And
I
we
love that
actually go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just love that it started from that, but then it turned into this whole event that truly it's all so connected and will continue to help
Yeah,
build your business,
yeah,
while doing something from the heart, which is
right.
really the secret to
Yeah,
mic drop, run the business, do it from the heart. We're done here.
we're done.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited for you because now you have all these vendor, connections too, so if you ever wanted to do book project or calendar project or a
mhm,
holiday guide or a
yeah,
bingo or, like, just really anything, you have just all these businesses just in your Rolodex, not that any of
yeah,
us use Rolodexes, but you have a contact there that they're gonna be ready
right.
to help with
Y
anything, and,
Yeah,
it's just yeah, so
yeah,
exciting, and just I think double downs on the importance of getting out there, guys, and meeting people in our community and networking and working with these other businesses. It's just so important.
yeah.
Mm.
Anybody that has met me will tell you I am, like, such an introvert. Like, I was an introvert before it became, like, a cool thing to be. Like, I was the nerd, you know what I mean, that
You're
didn't
an introvert
understand.
before you were a pet photographer.
Right. Like, I was the introvert that, like, it was called social anxiety disorder, like, before it was cool, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, for me to go out and kinda just walk in these stores, and it was not easy for me to do
Yeah.
it, but
Did it get easier the more that you did it now, though?
oh, sure, I can walk in
Yeah.
anywhere now. Be like, "Hey,
Yep.
can I put this sign up? Thanks, bye."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's one of those things that we build up in our heads so much of, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna walk in there and these people are gonna laugh at me and kick me out and tell the whole world that my business sucks, and then I'm gonna lose my business, and then I'm gonna not be able to pay my bills, then I'm gonna lose my house, and then I'm gonna have to go live in a car, but then they're gonna take my car because I can't make the payments, and then I'm gonna be living on the street." All from, like, going in and saying, "Hey, we have this event, would you like to participate?"
it's like you're in my head, Nicole.
Yeah, because 'cause I've been there, because 'cause I've been there, Michelle. I was
Yeah,
the kid, like, even in high school, it's like, there's no online ordering, there's no internet when I was in high school.
right.
Maybe there was internet, but it was still, like, in Al Gore's basement or something. Um, but it was like, "Oh, it's call and order pizza." I'm like, "I need to use the phone?" And
Right.
and call and talk to a person and tell them I'd like cheese. Just
Yes.
I can't.
My husband and I still fight over who's gonna order the dinner.
Well, at least
Still
now you just
now.
go online, you're like, "Do, do, do, do."
Most of
Okay,
the time,
perfect.
yeah. Text to
But,
order, thank
yes.
God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I had that conversation with my daughter the other day because she started high school just this week. And, it's very nerve-wracking, even though she's in the same district as other schools coming to the high school, and it's, new
Oh,
school
yeah.
and all the new things and,
Yeah.
way more classes, so you're not really with your friends that you had before. But
Mhm.
anyway, I'm like, "Babe, I get you. I was the same way." She's like, "But you talk to everybody." I'm like, well, yeah, now I do, but it still doesn't mean that like I like small talk. Like going to an event where you don't know anyone and you're walking in is like my
Yeah.
own personal hell. Like
Mm.
it's terrifying. Um so yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty standard I think for almost all of us and pet photographers
Yeah.
in general. I think we definitely run on the more introverted side.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Put me in a room full of dogs, no problem. I'll
Yeah,
stay there all day.
exactly.
Put me in a room full of humans, I am trying to get out immediately.
You're like the dog in the corner, it's just like, head
Yes.
down, cowering. "Please get me out of
Yeah.
here. I'm so stressed."
Yeah. So if you think about it, the fact that I even requested the meeting with the
No,
city,
that's
much less,
huge.
you know, these are
Uh-huh.
things that were not easy. I don't want anybody out there listening in podcast land to think that this was super simple because it was not.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
things that were the hardest were talking to other people. I
Mhm.
can coordinate 56 people on a spreadsheet any day of my life,
Yep.
which is probably why this was so successful because most of it was just organization.
Right, right.
I can organize in the background, no problem. But you want me to get out and talk to people? Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, moral of the story, guys, it's not that scary out there. Michelle still has her house, she still has her business, she still has her car, she's not living on the street because she asked, some vendors to participate in her dog parade, so
Yes.
be like Michelle.
Oh, goodness. Let this be a lesson to us all.
I love it. I love it. Do you have any last words of advice before we wrap up for anyone out there that is, just anyone out there in their business and their communities?
Just just go ahead and take the leap.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's like my summary of this whole event. And it all started from that book and that idea that was planted like people don't want on your Instagram to see a sales pitch every single post.
Mhm.
They don't want to see that. They want to see, and it's crushing to my soul that they want to see my face all the time. But they do. And those are the
Yeah.
posts that get the most engagement are
Mhm.
people looking at me, like, playing with my dogs on the floor or doing an opening on something, they like to hear me, and I don't get it, but I'll keep doing it if that's what they want, like, give the people what they want, right, Nicole?
Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, we're wired to make other human connections, and it's
Yes.
a lot easier. Like, we want to make the other connections from the side of not being the one that's out there. Like, we want to make the connection and see them. Like, they're kind of it's a safe way, right? When they're watching our video on social media or seeing our face on social or seeing our our face. It's like a reality show sort of. Like they get to see a glimpse into us and our life, but
Yeah,
they don't have to talk to us yet. So
right.
that's just human nature, right? So
Yeah.
by making ourselves visible, we're building that connection with our
Mhm.
potential clients and like it or not, that's the way the human psychology works.
Yeah. Well, and 2, like, I always thought that, okay, like, if I do this one thing and I'm gonna get 5 clients from it.
Right.
And it's not tomorrow, like,
Right.
not today, I'm not gonna get them, but maybe at Christmas time,
Mhm.
somebody is gonna be talking about how great the pet parade was, and somebody's gonna look me up, and maybe they'll buy a gift certificate for their family member,
Yeah.
and so I was so focused for such a long time on like these short-sighted goals, like, okay, and
Mhm.
now I have to make this much money, and now I have to get this many clients. Now I have to do this. Just chill out a little bit and play the
Mhm.
long game and see what comes of it. Who knows? I might not get any clients from the pet parade, but maybe I do. Maybe I get one great client. Maybe I get 5 great clients.
Yeah.
We'll
Even that
see.
one great client then often leads to more great clients, so
Exactly.
It 100% marketing is such a long game, and yeah, there are certain campaigns we can do and see a direct, result from them, but all of this whole business is about getting out there, photographing dogs, even when you're getting started, getting those portfolio sessions, just getting people in front of your lens, getting
Yeah,
people talking about you, meeting people in your community. And so many times, if you ask someone, like, oh, where'd you find out about me? Sometimes, like, the best answer they can give you is like, I've been seeing you everywhere, which is what a lot of people in your market are going to start saying to you from
right.
all of this. and
Yeah,
and that's the type of awareness that we often need for
yeah,
people to, like, move forward, because again, people are
yeah,
busy, and one of the hardest things about this business is that there is no event timeline connected with dog photography unless it's a puppy or, end of life.
right.
And everything else, that whole big middle of that dog's life, it's really easy to be like, oh man, I do want to call Michelle, but next week, next week, next week, next year, next year,
Right.
next year. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden my dog is getting
Yeah,
up there and getting older.
right.
um so,
Well,
yeah.
and two, like you said, all of those vendors, if somebody comes up and asks them, "Hey, do
Mhm.
you know somebody that takes dog photos?" Who do you think they're gonna
Yep.
say?
Mhm.
They're gonna say, "Oh, yeah, Michelle from Pets
Uh-huh.
in Focus. She
Yep.
coordinated this whole event. Call her. I think I have her business card somewhere," you
Right,
know?
right, right. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
100%. Yeah, those are the types of referrals and business building that's just gonna take your business up to the next level, and I'm so excited to watch
yes.
it.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yay.
much. This is so exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, so fun.
Yeah.
Before we leave, can you let people
Yes.
know where to find you so that they can see your face on social media too?
Yes. I make a live exactly once every 8 weeks when I get my hair done. So
I love it.
I am on Facebook and Instagram at Pets in Focus Photo, and
Perfect.
that's mostly where you can find me. And then my website is petsinfocusphoto.com. I try to keep it as streamlined as I can.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, if you
Yeah,
guys enjoyed this conversation with Michelle, reach out to her, let her know that you enjoyed it, and
please
let
do.
her know what the most impactful piece of it was for you. And let me know
Yes.
too. I love to know that. And
Yes.
Michelle, thanks again for taking the time to share your experience with us. I am so proud of how you made this come together. And I feel like a proud little mama bear over here.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting to be on your podcast.
Aw, thanks, Michelle. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.